Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving deep today into a truly unusual corner of online content. It's this place where, the ambitious cinematic vision of a video game just crashes head on with this raw, unfiltered, incredibly human streaming personality, our subject. The YouTube channel Lil Bipper and his unique, often hilarious playthroughs of the game Mafia Old Country.
Nice.
So we've pulled from multiple video transcripts of his gameplay, and what they offer is this incredible, almost like voyeuristic window into both the game itself and Lil Bipper's highly distinct style. Our mission today is to really unpack what makes his approach so captivating and, yeah, sometimes wonderfully frustrating too. We'll be exploring the deeply immersive world of Mafia Old Country, but through his very unique eyes. And look, this isn't just about gameplay, it's about this collision, right, between the intended design and the unvarnished real-time experience.
What's truly compelling here is precisely that blend you mentioned. You've got the game's incredibly ambitious design, it's aiming for this grand cinematic experience, and then it's juxtaposed with a streamer's very human, completely unvarnished reactions. It raises a pretty important question for us, I think. What happens, really, when hyper-realistic, meticulously crafted game design meets candid, in-the-moment commentary? It's this fascinating collision, developer intent versus immediate, often kind of chaotic player experience.
And what an experience it is. Okay, let's set the stage a bit. Let's look at Mafia Old Country itself, but through Bipper's lens. This isn't just any open-world title. It's set way back in 1905 Sicily, a period just rich with history, culture, intrigue. According to Bipper's commentary, it's built on either Unreal Engine 3 or maybe 5. Which immediately tells you the developers are aiming high. High-end visuals, immersive environments. They're clearly going for something highly cinematic, almost like an interactive movie feel.
Exactly, and you can actually hear Bipper himself, despite all his frustrations with the game sometimes, genuinely praising the visual beauty. There are these moments where he'll just pause, maybe after a tense gunfight, and just go, wow. Look at that in the distance, bro. Just beautiful. He's talking about the landscapes, the architecture, maybe just the lighting. But then, yeah, in the very next breath, he might be wrestling with some glitch where a horse's stirrup is just clipping right through his character's leg. It speaks volumes, doesn't it, about the game's ambitious look, even if the tech execution sometimes falters a bit.
And the immersion goes deep, right? Down to the language itself. The game starts in Sicilian with English subtitles. And Bipper, even though he grumbles occasionally, he actually commits to it. You hear him weighing it up, like, I should have kept it in English. Then, no, they can stay in Sicilian. His voice is good. Then he admits, it's work to watch. He knows it takes effort to read subtitles while playing, but he sticks with it for the authentic voice acting, the atmosphere. That's either, real dedication to realism, or maybe just that stubborn streak that kind of defines his whole channel.
Oh, absolutely. It's a deliberate design choice from the developers, leaning into that authentic atmosphere. It almost forces you, the player, into this richer cultural experience. And from the sources, we get the story follows this guy, Enzo, his interactions with the Don's daughter, Isabella. And the whole backdrop is family protection within La Cosa Nostra, the Sicilian mafia network. But it's not just the big plot points. The game drills down into these incredibly granular details. Bipper even mentions the food, like the in-game food, plates of pasta, bread. He says it can make you genuinely hungry, which points to this really high level of environmental detail, sensory detail. They're trying to pull you completely into that 1905 Sicilian world.
So what does all this mean for you, the player, then? It sounds like they're trying to create this deeply immersive world, yeah, almost like a foreign film you're playing, where even the smallest details, like that food, are meant to pull you in and kind of blur the lines between just watching and actively participating. It's asking you to be part of this living, breathing, historical drama, not just an observer looking in.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture in gaming, this design choice really highlights a trend, doesn't it? This push towards cinematic storytelling. Developers aren't just making games anymore. They're crafting these interactive narratives, things that prioritize emotional resonance, a rich plot, maybe sometimes even over purely mechanical gameplay. The goal is to make you feel like you're truly inside that story, experiencing it firsthand.
Okay, now let's shift gears. How does this meticulously crafted, immersive world actually play? And, maybe more importantly, how does Lil Bipper play it? Because that's where things get truly, well, captivating. That the game has, typical combat mechanics, knife fighting parries, dodges, brutal takedowns. You even have to sharpen your blade with a whetstone for, peak performance. That's a nice touch. Then there's gunplay, a range of period-appropriate weapons, bolt actions, repeaters, pump-action shotguns, even flintlocks and double barrels. Just the arsenal alone suggests they're serious about historical authenticity.
And the economy is pretty straightforward, fits the criminal underworld theme. You've got denarii,
the criminal currency. You get it mostly from looting people you deal with. And you use this denarii to buy essentials, weapons, vehicles, different outfits for customization. But interestingly, the game also has these trinacria, ancient Sicilian artifacts. Bipper finds these throughout his playthrough, and he can trade them for denarii in some guy named Pasquale's store. What's kind of revealing is how Bipper, despite their historical significance, seems to view them purely as cash, like transactional currency. It shows his very practical, maybe not so lore-driven approach to the game. Movement involves horses, which are pretty janky in his experience. He complains a lot about those. And surprisingly, for 1905, vehicles. And Little Bipper develops this unexpected love for the taxi in the game. Maybe just because it saves him from the janky horse riding.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, though. Lil Bipper doesn't just play the game. He kind of amplifies the experience. With his own self-imposed challenges and these completely unvarnished reactions, he plays on hard difficulty, which, most people wouldn't touch for a first run, but then he takes it further, turns aim assist off, embraces manual transmission for the vehicles. I mean, this alone sets him apart. It's like he's daring the game to test his patience. And ours, watching him.
And his reactions to the game's quirks, especially with those self-imposed handicaps, they're a constant highlight, aren't they? He frequently expresses his frustrations, often really humorously, with the controls, the physics. You hear him yell, "Stirrup just cuts through my man's leg right there," when a visual glitch just shatters the immersion. He'll complain about janky-ass motherfucking buttons when controls don't do what he wants. Or lament, "No jump in this. That is wild, dude," when like a tiny fence becomes this massive obstacle. It's this constant, often pretty entertaining battle with the game's imperfections. Yeah. A battle he's chosen to fight on the hardest possible terms.
Yeah, exactly. He's battling not just the bad guys in the game, but the game's own quirks and his own streaming habits, too. He's famously known for eating on stream. Like, we literally hear him rustling around for rotisserie chicken or ham, sometimes sipping coffee, often completely unfazed by whatever chaos is happening on screen. And he frequently looks away to read subtitles or engage with his chat, which, as you can imagine, leads to some truly chaotic, unexpected moments in the gameplay. I have to admit, hearing him, wrestle for chicken in the middle of a tense mob standoff, that's a level of commitment to the bit I kind of admire, but also just, oh, wow.
Exactly. It's like you're on the edge of your seat waiting for the next plot twist, and suddenly you're hearing someone chew. It completely shatters that fourth wall, but in this uniquely Bipper way. And this raises that important question again about player agency and immersion. The game is striving for this deep realism, right? But the streamer's unfiltered actions, his reactions, they just expose all the cracks. They remind us that it is, at the end of the day, a game with its own set of limitations. It creates this fascinating meta-commentary on the whole gaming experience itself. With a player's personal quirks, his eating habits, whatever, they become as much a part of the content as the game's actual story. It's no longer just about the game. It's about Bipper playing the game, flaws and all.
Absolutely. And that leads us perfectly into Lil Bipper's truly unfiltered screaming persona. He has this catchphrase. It really defines his content. First Person Bipper in a third-person world. It's more than just a tagline, isn't it? It kind of encapsulates his whole approach. Immersive, yet incredibly candid. He's in the game, but he's also intensely himself.
And his engagement with his audience, that's a huge part of his brand. He keeps up this constant, informal dialogue with his chat. Even when, it seems like he's technically alone in his room streaming. He's even said something like, "I don't know why I feel compelled to answer my chat with words," which suggests this really deep-seated desire for connection, maybe. This compulsion to vocalize his thoughts, his interactions. Even if it means momentarily breaking his own immersion in the game, it creates a very raw, unscripted feeling.
Yeah, it really is like having that friend next to you on the couch, the one who doesn't hold back any punches about what they're thinking or feeling. He's very committed to giving honest reviews, and he is not afraid to call out game developers directly when he feels they've messed up. We heard him say, "Get your fucking shit together, Hangar 13, which is a pretty direct, passionate jab at the developers of Mafia. He even compared MAFIA Old Country unfavorably to another game, Deadside, noting Deadside was like $26, and that shit was seeming like it was more worth it. Yeah. That kind of direct, unvarnished critique, that's what his audience expects. And frankly, it's probably what they trust him for.
And what's truly compelling, I think, is how Lil Bipper just embodies this modern, unfiltered content creator. His willingness to share personal details like mentioning being high sometimes or openly talking about having ADHD and how these things impact his gameplay or his streaming, it builds this incredibly strong sense of authenticity with his audience. He's not some curated, polished professional. He's just him. He also has these really strong opinions on loyalty, like his deep appreciation for his artist, Yolix, who does all his channel art. That level of transparency, that personal sharing, it resonates really deeply in today's digital world.
And his personality truly shapes how he experiences the game's story, too. You hear him expressing these strong, visceral opinions on the characters in the game. He'll immediately dislike bullies he runs into, reacting with genuine indignation like they've personally wronged him. His reactions to character interactions, to plot twists, they're passionate, unreserved, completely authentic. He doesn't just play the game, he feels it. And he lets you feel it, too. Sometimes laughing hysterically, sometimes just groaning in pure frustration.
His whole approach encourages critical thinking, doesn't it? Not just about the game story or its mechanics, but also about the integrity of game development itself and the often very curated nature of so many online experiences. He just strips away the polish, for better or worse. He forces you, the viewer, to confront the realities of game development. Its ambitions, yes, but also its flaws, and the raw human element behind the screen. It's a pretty powerful statement in an era that's often dominated by highly produced, often sanitized content. He exposes the cracks in the facade, and in doing that, he creates something uniquely memorable.
So after this deep dive into Mafia Old Country through the very unfiltered lens of Lil Bipper, we've seen this truly unique blend, haven't we? The game's ambitious cinematic vision meeting this raw, authentic, and often pretty hilarious streaming style. You get the sweeping beauty of 1905 Sicily, the intricate story, and all the frustrating, unburnished glitches right alongside it. It's kind of a masterclass in how human personality can elevate and sometimes brilliantly derail an intended experience.
Yeah, this deep dive really highlights how the bugs, the janky buttons, the personality quirks, sometimes those can be just as memorable, maybe even more so, than the intended polished experience. It definitely challenges us to question what quality really means in this rapidly evolving digital landscape. Is it flawless execution? Or is it compelling, authentic interaction, even when it's messy? It's a reminder that genuine human reaction, even the imperfect ones, can create content that really resonates deeply.
Exactly. So next time you dive into a new game or maybe a new channel, what will you be looking for? Will it be the perfect graphics and the seamless narrative that the developers intended? Or perhaps will be the perfect stirrup through the shin glitch and the streamer's unedited, maybe even exasperated reaction to it?
This deep dive really makes you consider, do you value polished perfection more, or that genuine, unvarnished personality in the content you consume? And what might that preference say about the future of interactive media and entertainment? Will the future of gaming content be in those flawless experiences, or will it be more in the unscripted, often chaotic human moments that happen when things go hilariously, authentically wrong?